Hello everybody, welcome back to Famicom Detective Club. So, let's ask about, I don't know, let's find out who she is. Excuse me. Yes, may I help you? I'm from the Utsugi Detective Agency. My name is Sushi-san. Ah yes, Mr. Utsugi said you'd be coming. You're here about the Kaneda case, right? Please wait here, someone will speak with you shortly. I thought you were the person who was gonna help us. An imposing-looking police detective has arrived. So, this is Utsugi's apprentice? Good day, I'm Chief Inspector Mariyama. I'm from the Utsugi Detective Agency. My name is Sushi-san. I've been instructed to speak with you about the Genjiro Kaneda murder. We've amassed quite a bit of information about it here. Genjiro Kaneda moved to this town 15 years ago, opening up a snack bar that February. On the night of November 10th of that same year, he was found murdered in his home around 9 p.m. Kaneda was stabbed multiple times. He died from an excessive loss of blood. Judging from the stab wounds, it seemed as though the murderer held a considerable amount of hatred towards the man. The snack bar was located a few miles from his home. It wasn't where the crime took place. Kaneda was stabbed multiple times. He died from an excessive loss of blood. Yep. What gave Mr. Kaneda such a bad rap? Well, while on the surface he seemed like a simple businessman, underneath he was apparently far more sinister. He had a reputation for demanding excessive amounts of interest from the many people he lent money to. To make matters worse, he was a master con artist. He cheated many people out of their well-being and livelihood. He was widely regarded as a vicious human being, working with cold-blooded precision. His exploits grew in infamy until the police took notice. However, just as an investigation was opened, he was murdered. In other words, he wasn't winning any popularity contests. You might say that. Knowing how many people despise the man has made it difficult to find the true killer. To make matters worse, the murder weapon was never found. Mr. Kaneda had a son named Goro. He was 16 at the time. All of Genjiro's wealth went to Goro back when the murder took place. He's been a playboy ever since, never working a day in his life. After the incident, he dropped out of school. He was seen coming and going from his late father's snack bar quite a bit thereafter. Let's see. Goro would be 31 this year if I remember correctly. The man seems to have simply never grown up. Even after all these years, he does nothing but search for the next party. He's still living the good life, not a care in the world. Back before the murder, Mr. Kaneda's snack bar was a local hangout. Many girls routinely stopped there after school. Goro made a reputation for himself early on by picking up many of the local girls and taking them back to his father's mansion. He was very popular with the ladies. Back in those days, he was a bit more than friendly with the number of girls from Ushimitsu High School. On the night of the murder, 3 girls Goro had previously met were waiting up at his mansion for him to come home. Since Goro never said when he would be back, 2 of the girls got tired of waiting and decided to walk home. Only one of the girls remained at the mansion, waiting there all by herself. Let me guess, Shinobu Asakawa. Bingo. From what we can tell, the Kaneda murder took place shortly after Shinobu left. Shinobu was left there alone. The girl was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. She went missing that night. No one ever saw her again, and to this day, no one knows what became of her. I hate to say it, but there's little chance she's alive. All we ever discovered was a small pool of blood found about 30 feet from Mr. Kaneda's mansion. It was type AB, the same as Shinobu's. So, have you understood everything I've said so far? I sure have. I think I've got a pretty good grasp on it. Let me run it by you from the top. Tell me if I make any mistakes. Explanation. Here you'll be asked to complete various sentences. Choose a name which appropriately fits each sentence. Yikes. Select a name from the direction pad. Choose the correct name with the A button. When you are ready to begin, press the A button. On the night of the Kaneda murder, there was another person at the mansion. Shinobu. She was waiting for this person to return. What the heck is on my screen? Oh. Why does Yoko... Oh, that's her face. I thought that was a monster. She was waiting for Goro to return. Got it. The crime was committed around 9 p.m. This person was found stabbed multiple times. That's Kaneda. Yep. Hearing a commotion in the house, this person allegedly rushed inside and saw everything. Was it... No, it was Shinobu, right? Yeah. Exactly. Having been stabbed repeatedly, Mr. Kaneda collapsed in a matter of moments. At the time, Shinobu must have tried desperately to escape, frantically running out into the street. The suspect, realizing he'd been seen, most likely pursued and caught up with her. And that's probably when this person was murdered by the suspect. Shinobu. Yes, that's probably what happened. Good job, Sushi. Let's go. That's exactly what the police thought back when this all happened. However, there is an alternate explanation. Kaneda was stabbed multiple times. He died. Oh, I thought he was going to tell us about the other explanation. What do I ask him? About Genjiro? Definitely a ruthless man if you ask. Oh, about Shinobu. My bad. What do you mean, an alternate explanation? There's always a possibility that Shinobu was abducted. It's a remote possibility, but we can't rule it out since no corpse was ever found. Unfortunately, no one has ever provided any information to lead us to believe one over the other. A missing persons report was put up at the school, but frankly, you were the only ones to have offered any help in 15 years. I doubt anyone still knows much about it anymore. Gossip surfaces occasionally, but it's usually more fiction than fact. Personally, my theory has always been that Shinobu was murdered. Can we ask about Goro and see what he's up to? Goro claims he came home later on that night and discovered his father lying there in his own blood. He then contacted the police. Goro must have returned home only a few minutes after the crime had taken place. He did mention he saw a car speed away from their mansion on his way home. That could mean anything, but... According to his report, it was a large black car. He didn't catch the license plate number though. It's a long shot, thinking this car could have anything to do with the case, but it's still a possibility. There were a set of skid marks found a few feet from the pool of blood. Someone may have stopped suddenly to abduct Shinobu. I see. By the way, I heard something about a potential suspect who committed suicide. Well, you certainly are up on things, aren't you? Yes, as a matter of fact. His name was Teruhiko Uchida. Teruhiko Uchida? Mr. Uchida used to own a small factory here in town, but because of a loan he'd taken out from you-know-who, he was forced to sell it. Uchida seemed to value honesty and integrity above all else. It was all just bad luck that he got mixed up with a man like Kaneda. Uchida, a very generous man, came to Mr. Kaneda's aid when he was still new in town. It was all downhill from there, though. According to witnesses, Mr. Uchida seemed visibly agitated in the days before the Kaneda incident. The police immediately sought him after the murder. However, when they found him, he was already dead. His motive seemed to fit, and he was originally sought as a prime suspect. If only he hadn't committed suicide, we'd known more. Regardless, I believe the assailant is still out there. Sushi. This case statute of limitations is set to expire next week. We won't be able to crack the case unless something turns up soon. That's the gist of the Kaneda murder case. Thanks for the info. I hope this helps out somehow with the Yoko case. What do you mean? There was a girl named Yoko who was found dead recently, but... Are you saying her murder is somehow tied to the Kaneda case? I don't know yet. All I do know is that she was investigated in an old ghost story called The Girl in Back. I have reason to believe that the basis for this rumor stemmed from Shinobu's disappearance. A ghost? Well, I'm sure that's an interesting story. You'll have to tell it to me some other time. However, I'm afraid I've got to get on with my day. Good luck, kid. To the agency. Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way now. When you said kid, I was thinking of Run Your Sets. Dan, this is a Utsugi Detective Agency. Utsugi's gone, though. Time to review. It's clear that Shinobu had some sort of involvement in the Kaneda incident. It's likely Shinobu was murdered. Rumors of foul play could have spread around town, eventually becoming the ghost story told today. So little is known about what happened all those years ago. Shinobu's whereabouts seem to have become engulfed in mystery. Uchida would have been the prime suspect had he not committed suicide. Still, that doesn't entirely rule him out as the murderer. Wait a second. Back when Yoko was investigating the tale of the girl in back, it's possible she stumbled onto something about the Kaneda incident. Something she wasn't meant to see. She must have stumbled onto something big for all this to have happened. What could it be? Could Yoko have discovered who the real murderer was? If that's the case, then it couldn't have been Uchida. I need to find out what she was onto, and fast. Is that it for the night? Seems like we're going to bed. Well, I've got my work cut out for me. For now, my #1 priority is to pick up Yoko's trail and see where it leads. Where are we going? Back to the school? Chapter 4, The Girl in Back. This is Uchimitsu High School. There are a few students nearby. Hey, you're that kid detective. Kid? Why would anybody want to kill her? Do your best, Mr. Detective. Find the bad guy. What a creepy story. Alright. Huh? Who's that? He was murdered here in town 15 years ago. Have you ever heard anything about him? I don't know. And she's probably not even 15 years old. Okay, let's show her Yoko's notebook. Or her not. What is it, Mr. Detective? I thought we could speak to the other girls. What a creepy story. That sure was a long time ago. I was only 2 back then. Mr. Kamada would probably know something about that. He's been here like 50 million years. he would probably know something about that. To ask her about her insights. Or not. Show the notebook? Nothing happens. Think. Mr. Kamada probably knows something about the Kaneda murder. I mean, Kamada. Yoko must have thought the same and went there to investigate. Head back to the art room. This is the art room. Mr. Kamada is in here. Well, there's an art club member here, though. She's working on a painting, off in a corner of the room. Whoops. Excuse me. I'm trying to work on my painting. Jeez. Leave me alone. You're gonna keep bothering her. Okay, never mind. But I don't know. Check the vicinity again. An art club member is here painting a portrait. Check the oil painting. Wow, that's a really awesome painting. Did you do it all by yourself? Yeah, it took a really long time. What do you want anyway? Do you know if Mr. Kamada's around? No, I don't know where he went. Poor Yoko. Oh, I don't know anything about the girl in back. I'm a refined artist, not a gossip queen. I think he said he was gonna be back pretty soon. Who? He was murdered here in town 15 years ago. Have you ever heard anything about him? 15 years ago? I was still a baby in Paris. I'm half French, can't you tell? That happened so long ago. You really like my art? Yeah. I'm gonna be a famous artist someday, with my works in all the renowned French galleries. Oh, brother. I just heard about it. It makes me so sad. It's an avant-garde tiger, painted in watercolors on a fancy pastel background. He should be back soon. I don't know. Alright, well. None of the students would probably know anything about the Kaneda incident. Wait a second. If Yoko was really onto something with the Kaneda incident, it might be better to check her house. Well, let's go. This is the Kojima residence. Well, I think this is a good stopping point for this episode. We will check out what's happening at, Kojima's house in just a moment. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.